This new music makes me want to dance, boys. It's just not the same. Welcome, everyone, to the Bob and John Sports Hour. And on tonight's show, we're going to talk about Game 4, Warriors in Boston, the NFL betting and Super Bowl and conference odds. I thought that was cool that it was already out there. And for me and Andre, the Giants sweep LA.
Yay, go Giants! PLA, PLA, PLA.
Oh, Aaron Judd, maybe a Giant next year. And then we also are going to talk about, I'm sorry, Bob, what was it?
Jack Del Rio and his
Jack
comments.
Del Rio's little
Rio,
tweet. Before we get started, let's say hello to Mr. Bob Sharp. Hello, Mr. Sharp.
Hello, Mr. Sharp.
And
Hello,
joining us tonight is a man who once told Cleopatra he was not enough man for her and he should date Mark Anthony, and instead and he wasn't in defeat. The godfather of sports, Mr. Andre Sala.
Thank you. I introduced Mark Anthony to Cleopatra.
You did.
I knew she was going to pull out the snakes, and I didn't want to be the.
She didn't have no snakes. Wrong person, dude.
Cleopatra had snakes. How do you think she died?
Bob, will you please clarify who the snake person was in Egyptian times? Ancient Egyptian times.
Cleopatra.
It was Medusa. You're
Medusa,
thinking
yeah.
Medusa was in Greek times.
She was. Medusa was in the Greek mythology.
That's right.
Andre is correct. You know why Andre is correct? Because he lived.
Because I was there.
That's right. He was there. He was Mark Anthony's wingman. So we know that. We know that.
How do you think she died? She put her hand in a weave basket, and the snakes bit her.
Yes.
Andre, you watch way too much History Channel, man.
No, I just know my history. Some of it anyway.
Guys.
You know what? I can see it now. You know, Andre is sitting there. You know, he's at the Senate, and he goes, "Hey, Marco, hey, why don't you and me, Brutus, we kill a Caesar, and then we go to Egypt, and I introduce you to the hottest woman in the world."
She can belly dance all night long.
He was in defeat, Mr. Anthony. Mark Anthony was in defeat. We know that for a fact. Somebody that wasn't in defeat.
Wait. Was he in defeat or was he in defeat?
He was both. He did both. He was defeated and he was in defeat. I think defeat got him defeated. You know, he was focusing too much on Cleopatra's feet and wasn't paying attention to what was going on in the empire. So, yeah, let's just keep it. Hey, wait, all right, this is a sports show where this isn't the Discovery Channel or history.com, guys. Well, I guess there are moments in sports that are considered history. So I guess that in a way it's history as well. Game 4, guys. This was a big one. I mean, the Warriors didn't need to go down 3-1 going back to San Francisco. I always want to say Oakland, but I got to keep reminding myself that they are no longer in Oakland. They're on the other side of the dirty water in San Francisco.
They're on the clean side of the dirty water.
Well, they're on the clean side, but that's pretty filthy, dirty water. That's in between this two. It's pretty dirty. I wouldn't want to swim in that water. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I would.
Even if it was clean, you won't, because it's only 50 degrees warm.
Yeah. I'm not getting in that water. I don't care how much you pay me. I'm not getting in that water. There's so much to talk about. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and ask Andre first, because I don't know if Bob watched the game or not. So I'm going to ask Andre the question here.
I watched part of it.
Oh, did you? Good. These finals are turned into the Curry show. He's averaging 34 points, 34 minutes, 27.6 points. With yesterday's game with 43 points in that game and had 10 rebounds and 7 3-pointers. Wow, 7 3-pointers with 4 assists. Can he keep this up?
I don't think he might not be able to keep up the 40 points.
No.
But he can keep up the 30, 35 points. Now, if Clay would come for the party, would come and join the party, he might be able to keep up the 40 points, because now they can't double team both guys.
Yeah.
So,
but who else other than Clay do you guys think needs to step up?
Well, yesterday, Sunday's game, Riggins finally showed up. and he has to a certain point. But yes, Sunday's game, or was it Saturday's game?
Yeah.
No,
Saturdays.
Friday's game.
Friday's game.
He stepped up really big, getting the rebounds that the
Yeah.
Warriors needed because they were just getting out rebounded all the time. And I don't like the idea, if I was Kerr, instead of going small ball, because it seems like when he goes small ball, we're quicker, but we don't get the rebounds. So if we're not getting the rebounds, we can't be quicker, going to the other team's hoop. So if I was him, what I would have done, or would maybe even still do, to try and control the boards, is maybe play the elites and Kevon Looney at the same time. And then if you got those two big guys in there, and you got Draymond, and then Thompson and Curry as the two guards, maybe he can control the rebounds, because now you got two big guys in there. They're both 6'11", 6'10", 6'11", and Draymond 6'9", 6'10", somewhere 6'8", somewhere in there. So now you got three pretty decent tall guys that might be able to control the boards, which you can maybe run a little bit, or control the boards and get the putbacks, to outscore them inside the paint like they were doing against the Mavericks and the other team from Colorado, Denver, because the Warriors outscored in those two series. They outscored both teams inside the paint and out rebounding them, by a big margin.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I was Kerr, that's what I might try. Try for 10 minutes, 7 minutes. If it doesn't work, then you go back to your old lineup.
What do you think, Bob?
I think that as soon as Jason Tatum decides he wants to play basketball, I think it'll be a good series. Jason Tatum's been non-existent, really.
Yeah,
really,
I think his best game's been like 16 points.
But I've been watching the games, and I see him.
Well, he finished with 23 on Friday.
Right, 23.
He's like four whenever he does. He's like 4 out of 6 on threes, 4 for 4 on threes.
No, he's been playing horrible.
Towards the end of the game, he starts shooting these threes, and they're clunkers. Yeah. But he's also been driving to the hoop and dishing off to the right guy that's been opened to take that open look jump, the 3-footer. Mm-hmm. And sometimes he makes the layups.
He's off though, Andre.
Well, he's off because the Celtics are getting their points from Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, who's like, he'll hit a 3 here and there, but Jason Tatum really hasn't.
Yeah, he is. He's 8 for 23. Yeah, he shot 8 for 23 at 34.8% from the field, including 4 for 15, which is 26% at the 2-point shot. So he's off. Yeah, and he had 6 turnovers.
Well, the turnovers is going to kill him.
Turnovers are killing him.
But he's also, I don't know. I see, granted, against the Knicks, the Nets, and against
the Heat.
The Heat, he did somewhat good.
He did. He did very well against the Heat.
Yeah,
and it's true that those teams don't have the defense that the Warriors do.
Right.
So that makes a difference. Just like the Boston's defense is putting a clamp on Thompson and on Poole, because Poole in the other series was doing really good.
Yeah.
Getting 18, 20 points. And now he's only getting 10, 11.
You'd think Boston, because I noticed that too. I think Boston just decided to put all their defense on Thompson, and because I think they just figured they're not going to stop Curry from scoring. Curry's just,
well, back in the 80s when Jordan got into the league and Boston would play the Bulls in the playoffs, Boston would pretty much shut down everybody else and let Jordan have his way.
Yeah.
Jordan's not going to score 100 to win the game. So
Yeah.
Jordan got 63 one time, but Boston still won because all the other guys on Chicago couldn't hit crap because the Boston defense cracked down on them. So
But that's
if you want to give Curry all the shots, that's fine.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you shut down everybody else, Curry's not going to light you up for 100.
Yeah.
So, but if
That's
you
how
let
it
Curry
was.
have 50 and nobody else gets anything, I'm good with that.
But that's how it was back. Again, we keep referring to back in those days.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's
80s.
how it was in those days.
Mhm.
In those days, they shut down their main guy
Mhm.
and hoped that the other guys wouldn't do, or they let the, because they know they can't stop Chamberlain, Russell, whatever.
Right.
They knew they couldn't stop them. They just had to make sure, like Bob says, that the little guys would only get 2 points instead of
Mhm.
20.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But nowadays, it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
They're
I
trying
think,
they're trying to shut down everybody else, or they're trying to shut down their main guy, and let the other guys go. Where before it was just the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I think they're smart. I mean, they're making Thompson work for his points, and I think they've gotten in Draymond Green's head. I think he's just he's game is off. He's making stupid fouls and causing
Mhm.
some. That's the thing. That's a question I have for both of you. It's why do people expect so much more out of him? I mean, to be honest, when I look back at his last 4 seasons, he's only averaging between 7.5 and 8 points, and that's what he's
Right.
getting right now. But it just seems like they're expecting him in the playoffs to put up 15, 10, and with 4 or 5 assists, and that's not been his game the last 4 years. But
Okay. To me, Draymond is not a scorer. He's not going to give you. If you're lucky, you might get 12 points.
is he muscle
Maybe
at this point?
on occasion you might get 14.
Yeah.
But his thing is 8 to 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 or 4 block shots, and maybe 6 assists, 7 assists, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that because we all have this thing about him, and he complains. He does complain a lot, but so do all the other players. Every player complains a lot nowadays. Every time he shoots, he thinks he's gotten fouled and he should get the basket +1. He
You
thinks
can
he
hear
never
him.
fouled.
You can hear him too
And
over the
And
TV. I wasn't paying attention to that until the other day, and you can hear him screaming, "And what?" I'm like,
And what?
where?
So, but I think what happened is because of his reputation of always complaining about the fouls, plus they fouled him out of one game and gave him a technical.
They're in his head.
And he's complaining.
Yeah.
He's complaining. I think now the referees are looking for any little chip shit foul that they can call on him. Because if you were watching yesterday's game or Friday's game,
Yeah.
the announcers were saying, well, that's not a foul. That's a ticky-tick foul. I've seen worse fouls like that don't get called. And same thing with Looney. They did the same thing with Looney. All of a sudden, within 5 minutes, Looney got 2 fouls with both announcers were saying, that's not a foul. That shouldn't be a foul. And
Well, right now he has 18.
And when Kerr got fouled on that 3-point shot, and Jack Tatum knocked him down to the ground like a big dog, they didn't call no foul there.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I don't know if they got into his head. I'm just thinking it's the referees are looking for every little chicken shit thing that Draymond does that can, all of a sudden turn him around or get him pissed off.
Yeah,
and
he went
instead of playing, he's pissed at the refs.
Yeah, he went 1 for 7 shooting, but he had the 8 assists. But here's a stat though. Green has 18 fouls to 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
They're in his head.
Right. Do you really think it's them, or do you think it's the referees maybe calling chicken shit fouls that all of a sudden,
I think it's both.
If he gets 2 quick fouls in the first quarter, within the first 5 minutes, now he can't play.
He can't play. Yeah.
Right. So is it Boston that got him in the head, or is it the referees that got him in his head? Curry.
What do you think, Bob? Both? You think it's a little bit of both?
Yeah, Curry had 2 fouls in the first quarter, and he had to sit out the rest of the first quarter plus half of the second quarter. Yeah. Thompson, the same thing. So with them, I can understand because they, but with Draymond, I don't know if it's Boston in his head. I think it's the referees getting into his head.
I think Draymond Green needs to turn off his Twitter account and stop arguing with Charles Barkley all the time.
Yeah.
Him and Charles have been gone back every day. And it seems like he's more focused on making Charles Barkley look bad than playing the game. And he does. I mean, what I've watched is I haven't seen him do a ticky-tack foul that they're not calling the other way. He does some pretty stupid shit.
Well, yes.
And yeah, but because he is a whiner, every little thing the referees are going to call. Although he did get away with that one technical. I think it was either game 1 or game 2 where it should have been a double technical, but they didn't call it a double technical because he already had technical and he'd been kicked out of the game.
Yeah. Since you brought that up, I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay. That double technical that everybody says should have been a double technical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 announcers said it should have been just a foul, not a double technical foul.
Right.
They also asked their retired official.
Yeah, Steve Jaffe.
Yeah, whoever it is. They asked him, "What do you think?" He goes, "Well, I think it should have been a foul, but I don't think it should be a double technical due to the severity of the game."
Yeah.
Well,
so it should be a double technical. Well,
actually, what Steve Jaffe said was, as a referee, you look at it and you go back and look at it, but you take into consideration that one guy already has a technical. Right. So you take that into consideration before you call another technical on him. So you might give him the lower foul because you really don't want to take him out of the game.
But
he did say you could call a double technical on both of them, but you won't because
he didn't say that.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
He didn't say. But all the officials, all the announcers, and I know they're not officials, I know they're not referees, but they all were saying it's not worthy of a double technical foul.
Because Draymond would have been kicked out of the game.
Right.
That's why
even let me just say it this way. We've all seen bad fouls. Obviously, he lost his footing. He fell down. He was not intending to put his foot in his face. It was just the way his body fell. And I think the referees took that also into consideration. Was it a foul? Yes.
If you noticed, after that play, the 2 guys are on the ground, they both got up.
Yeah.
Al Horford went by Draymond Green and threw a shoulder into Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Stirring the fact, boiling the pot a little more. Mark Jackson, that was the announcers there. That was one of the announcers in that game. He said that, how can I put it, that what he said? That the Boston players know that Draymond Green gets upset really fast.
Yeah.
And that you should do whatever you can to get him pissed off and ejected out of the game.
Absolutely.
So that tells you, and if you watch the game, you would see that Al Horford threw a shoulder into Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. If that's the case, if he's what is it? The instigator is always supposed to get called for the foul. They didn't do shit to Horford. They just let him go.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now. I've seen some calls go the Warriors' way that are.
Yeah, it's working out both ways.
No, I'm just saying that everyone says that the Draymond Green should have been thrown out of the game because of the double. Well, Al Horford was the one that instigated after the play was over.
But that's how the Detroit Pistons were good because Bill
but that's in the
Laimbeer.
80s. We're not going to worry about
I know,
the
but
80s.
no, but you know what? There's a pattern, Andre. Let me finish. There's a pattern.
Go ahead.
But Bill Laimbeer and those guys would personally work up the other guys on the other teams just to get that same effect.
Okay,
If you know
true.
somebody has a quick trigger, I'm going to go for that trigger right away.
Okay, and that's true. But that was the style of the 80s.
Even
and
now.
the 70s.
Even now
they don't do
that.
Yeah.
I just think, like I said, I think they know, and I think the refs are also, and they're in his head. I think they're in his head. We're going to jump right into the benches. And I think that's where the difference has been in these last couple games. And who's calling me? Hold on a second.
It ain't me.
It ain't me.
And Carol, can I call you back?
In an hour.
Your mom has to go to San Francisco.
Okay, hold on. You guys talk. I'll be right there. Hold on, guys.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I got a point to make.
Go ahead, make the point, Andre. I'm here for you.
We talked about Draymond maybe being rattled because of the Celtics or the referees, and how the referees are looking for every little thing that they can do to get a foul on Draymond or whatever. Well, okay, I'm gonna go back because you're going back, and I'll go back to the 70s. There was a guy on the Warrior by the name of Phil Smith.
Yeah, Phil Smith, shooting guard, good guy.
The referees were so on him that every time he touched the player's back or whatever, they called a foul on him. He was so snake bitten that he couldn't play basketball the way he wanted to. And he was great during the season, but during the playoff season, because he was so snake bitten because the referees kept calling every chicken shit foul, 5 fouls, 6 fouls, goodbye, see you later. He fouled out of the games. He was sitting on the bench with 3 fouls on him. And so that's the same thing that happened to Phil Smith then is happening right now to Draymond.
All right, let's go back. Let's talk about the benches right now. And I think that's the difference right now between the two teams. And I think the Warriors benches have been outperforming Boston's. And I'm going to go ahead and, the bench, Looney, Payton, and Poole. And how do you say this guy's name? Namin Jean? I don't know how to say that guy's name. Nemanja. I don't know how to say it.
Who's he for? Boston?
No. He's Warriors. Namajan, I forget. Combined for 25 points, 11 for 22 shooting, and they're best
heard of anybody by the name of Namajan or Najin.
Yeah,
could it be
Iguodala?
But Namadal.
Yeah, not Iguodala. The other guy, the rookie who's only 19 years old or 18 years old.
I will put it right up on the screen for you guys, and you can pronounce it and tell me if I said it right or wrong, or who's right, who's wrong.
Oh, Ben Belicia.
Yeah. They're both combined.
He's the center. He's the center. He's the other big man.
Yeah, they're combining for 25 points with 11 for 22 shooting, and they're best in Boston's bench by at least 6 points right now. I think that's the difference. I really do. And I mean, Boston, the last 2 wins of this series have shot. I mean, these are crazy numbers for the first 2 games that the 2 games that they won, which was game 1 and 3. They shot 50.6%. That's pretty damn good as a team, respectively. In their 2 losses, though, they've shot 37.5%. And that goes back to what Bob was talking about. Yeah, it's when they're on, they're dangerous. When they're off, they're just horrible.
Well, that's anybody, though.
Well, that's with any player. But at the same time, the Warriors won the third game that Boston won.
Okay? Game 3.
The bench outscored the Warriors by crazy. And I know, I guess both coaches make a statement of this or not. But when those Williams and Horford and Jason,
Robert Williams, Grant Williams,
Robin Williams, Horford, and Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Sometimes that kid White. Those guys
Yeah.
were making threes. Those guys were making threes like it was raining threes.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, a lot of those threes, 90% of those threes, maybe even more, were uncontested. That's when that's when Jason Brown would drive up the hoop, and instead of making the layup, he would dish it off because everybody would collapse on Jason. On God damn it,
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen, no, not Jaylen, not Jaylen Brown, the other one, the one that's having a bad series.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Okay.
When he drives to the hoop, everybody's collapsing to either try and guard him or to stop him from going up for the layup. So he gets up there, and instead of finishing the layup, he's dishing it off to the corner pocket guys, the top of the key, and there's nobody around him within 6-7 feet.
I noticed that too.
They're able to boom.
Yeah.
Well, in the fourth quarter, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen in the second game either. That's why those guys were only going 6 for 25. They all could 3 players average 6 points.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that's something that I couldn't stand watching. And all 4 of these games is driving to the hole, and they're giving you the layup. Why are you dishing it back out to the outside? Take the 2 fucking points.
Exactly.
Take the 2 points, man. You're literally one. I mean, all they have to do is stick their arm up.
Right.
I don't get it. I talked about how I can't stand this game. It's just like, basketball is about scoring points. It doesn't matter if it's 2s or 3s or 1. Get points. And if you're right under the basket and the other team is conceding the basket, but you're dishing it out to somebody that's 25 friggin' feet away, give me a friggin' break. Take the 2 points. Move on. You don't have to score 3 for 3.
Draymond Green does that a lot.
Yeah.
Draymond Green does that a lot. He's got a layup, and instead he'll throw it to Curry or Thompson for the 3-point, and they miss.
Yeah.
And then Boston gets it and gets a 2-point in transition.
Yeah. All right. Who wins game 5, guys? Before we jump into the next coming home, coming to San Francisco.
Boston.
Who wins?
Go ahead, Bob. You say it.
Boston.
I think the Warriors are, because I think they found, like everybody says, they finally found a way to stop Boston.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep Looney in as the big man, because Looney's been out hustling these guys, and I think they're finally going to start shooting with a 3-point guard, which would be Thompson, Poole, and Looney. I mean Thompson, Poole, and Curry.
Yeah.
So I think those 3-point guards are going to do something, and I don't think they're going to go with this. I know they will, but I don't think they're going to keep it for a long time, the small lineup, because I'm sure the Steve Kerr has figured out that the small lineup doesn't do him any favor in a rebounding situation.
No, yeah, because he did start Porter for the first time.
Right.
Yeah, first time
but
in the postseason.
He only kept him in for about 3 minutes, and then he
he realized that wasn't going to work.
It wasn't working. So that's why I think the Warriors are going to win. Now going back to Boston, it might be a tough time to win that 5th game or 6th game, to close it out. That might be tough.
All right, let's jump into the next topic real fast, because this is a fun one for us. Giant Andre, your thoughts on this? It came at a right time. I think it came at the right time.
Yeah.
Is it a big deal? No, but in a way
I think it is. I think it is. Not because they got into their heads that they're going to win, but I think it's a big deal that they closed the gap.
Yeah.
San Diego is only a half a game behind. The Giants are only 3 games behind.
Yeah.
So and there's, from what I heard when I was supposed to watch the last game of the Giants Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I turned it to the channel where I'm supposed to watch it. I get to watch the game 2 innings after. No, I get to watch it. I get to watch it in the 4th inning when the Giants are up 2-0. Then all of a sudden the screen goes blank, and it goes to the 9th inning, and the Giants are still up. I think it was 2-1 then.
Yeah.
Or it was 2-1 or 2-0 still. And they were talking about the Dodgers, how all of a sudden there's kind of like bad feelings inside the locker room. And they were talking. I thought they said something about the coach Roberts. I know it's just the announcer saying this shit.
Yeah.
You know? It's not the real organization saying, it's just the announcers. It had something to do with the play that Roberts wanted to know. Oh shit.
Well, it's the first sweep since 2016.
Right.
So.
Right.
It's been a while.
There was some bad things going on in the locker room with the Dodgers. Robertson was doing something about a call because he wanted to take the pitcher out, put him like in left field or right field, and then put in a reliever. Then take that reliever out and then put him back to regular pitch again, which was. Oh, did we ever talked about that already a while back?
Yeah, that was last week's show.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that last week.
And maybe that's what they were talking about, about Roberts, and that's why I brought it back to me for some reason. Maybe they brought up on TV. They brought up something that happened a week ago, and they brought it up again.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of bad because you can see the Dodgers are just faltering all of a sudden. And like you said, and I said it earlier, it's no big deal because you still got 4 months to go.
Yeah.
But if the Dodgers lose this big giant lead that they had, they were in first, by 12, 13 games, I think, 11 games.
No.
Weren't they in the
were
lead
first
over
by
7.5.
By 4.
By 14?
The Giants were behind by 7.5, but the Padres were at the peak in May when the Dodgers were playing well. The Padres were 4 games behind.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 4. I don't know why I thought it was a bigger lead than that.
Yeah.
But and I do know that the Padres did get hot for a while, but I always thought the lead was a lot bigger than that. And so to me, if you lose this big lead, it can do something to your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a lead.
Okay.
It was 7.5.
Right now, they can't hit to save their life.
Yeah.
They can't hit to save their life. They had bases loaded, no outs twice, and I saw Freddie Freeman strike out, Trey Turner double play, right. but they can't hit the ball to save their life.
Yeah, I think it was 3. Was it 3 times that they had bases loaded, no outs?
Mm-hmm.
I know twice for sure.
Yep.
But then I thought the announcer said something about
Bob,
3.
that just could be really good pitching.
But then again,
all right.
The Giants
in the month of May, at the end of May, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman were both hitting 304.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman is now down to 278, and then Mookie's down to 283. Okay. They aren't hitting the ball very well. Okay. And it's not great pitching. Okay. It's not great pitching. It's not. They're not hitting the ball.
So when the Giants had bases loaded, no outs, and they didn't score any runs, was that great pitching or was that just terrible hitting?
No, it's the lack of fundamental baseball. Because if you've got bases loaded and no outs, your approach should change to at least to try to hit a fly ball to the outfield to get one on a sac fly. But they keep striking out.
Yeah.
And not
even a suicide squeeze.
Go the other way. If there's a shift, go the other way. Bunt. Do something.
So
even a suicide squeeze. I mean, at least try a suicide squeeze at least once with bases loaded with no outs. Fuck.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the pitcher, the guy's approach should be to try and hit the ball to the outfield. And that's everybody's approach. Yes. We all know that. But if the pitcher doesn't make the guy hit the fly ball, it strikes him out. So isn't that great pitching?
Hey, that is quite.
Not great pitching. What you do, Andre, is you adjust your swing. You adjust your swing for the right purpose. All right. Yeah. If they're playing the shit, go the other way. If he's pitching you outside, if he's pitching you inside, step out and try to drive the ball down the left field line.
Yeah.
So
But
then
you can always
but the
take
Dodgers
that
though,
approach.
when you're throwing
contact.
when you're
the
throwing an
Dodgers had
amazing
bases loaded.
splitter and
The
you got a
Dodgers
great
had bases
slider,
loaded.
it's hard to hit. It's hard to hit those two
Dodgers had
pitches.
bases loaded 3 times with no outs and couldn't do that.
Not 6 times.
No, they
All
had
right, here's the
bases
deal.
loaded.
When you look at the box, when you look at the standings today,
Right.
who's in first?
Yeah. Well, we all know that.
Come
We
on.
all know
Yeah,
that.
that's what I mean. It's
The Dodgers are first.
middle
By a
middle
half a
June.
game.
It was
By
a
a
big
half a game.
it's a big moment for them. It's something they really needed to do to cut that lead in half,
Right.
and they did that. They got that out of there.
Absolutely.
And I think
The
it's
Dodgers were lucky that San Diego lost.
Yeah.
If San Diego would have won, then San Diego would have been in first place. But again, we go back to that thing. If my grandmother had balls, she'd be my grandfather.
She'd be my uncle.
So we always go to that.
I hate that saying so bad. Every time I hear it, I'm like, dude, who came up with that damn saying? If my grandmother had balls, she'd
be my grandfather. But it's the truth, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's early, but I think it's something. All right, I'm going to get this off my chest. I think I'm not part of the Giants. I'm not in the dugout. I'm not part of the team. I'm not around the guys, but it feels like I think if this team takes that same attitude into every game, like they're playing the Dodgers, I think they're a little bit better of a team, but it seems like they get up for certain games. And I get it. I mean, when you're playing, whoever if you're playing Pittsburgh, sure. You're going in assuming you're going to win or whatever. It's going to be an easy game. But I think if they take that same approach into every game that they're playing the Dodgers, I think they could be a better team. I mean, they got a good record, honestly. They got a good home record right now, and their away record is very well too. I mean, everybody in our division's got a great home record right now and away record. So,
well, for me, I think the Giants ought to do what Bob says. You got a man on third with only 1 out. You should go for the fly ball. And if I was the coach,
that was Dusty's game. That was Dusty's game. Let's be honest. That was how Dusty played. That's how he won World Series. And I think they need to go back to that. You're right.
And if I was the manager of the Giants, I might start putting what's 1 minute?
No, Dusty never won a World Series.
That's right.
Didn't
he win one with Houston? Didn't he win one with Houston?
No, he wasn't the manager when Houston won.
Well, who did it? He's Cincinnati now. He's with
AJ
Cincinnati.
Hinch was the manager.
Yeah, he's with, but Dusty Baker.
Manager.
Dusty Baker's with Cincinnati, right? I think, or is he still with Houston?
He never won a World Series as a manager.
Right. No, he gave one away when the Giants should have won that. Pardon me. He gave one away. I think so. If that's the one when Barry Bonds, it was the year after Barry. No, Barry Bonds was on the team, I think. But anyway, what I would do is if I was the manager of any baseball team, and I had a guy bases loaded, no outs, or base loaded, 1 out, man on third, 1 out. If I was and I'm the manager of any team, I'm telling my players, if you guys don't get a fly ball out to score that run in from third base, I'm fining you $100 per bat.
$100, that's nothing.
I know that's true, but not 100. Okay, but I mean, you don't want to
hot dog money. That's hot dog money.
But I mean, you don't want to make it too bad because then the player was shit. I'm hurt today. I can't play.
Either thing you try to do, Andre and Bob will back me up on this. They'll take it right to the players' union.
Oh, I know they will.
You try to find players for fucking things that they're supposed to do. They'll take it right to the players' union.
The Giants used to have this thing called the kangaroo court. When somebody did something bad, every team still does. They still do it. Okay, so so you make the fine low that way they can't take it to the kangaroo court. $100 to them is nothing, right?
Yeah, that's nothing.
But if you do it 10 times, that's $1,000. It's still nothing.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll try to get that run in instead of swinging away for the home run or swinging at a gopher ball. you know, that you're playing lawn bowling, you know, to try and hit the ball.
Yeah. All right, we're going to jump into the next topic real fast here. Aaron Judge, maybe a Giant next year. Current salary, $10.8 million. Judge he's a Central Valley boy. I forgot about that. Linden, California. Grew up in Linden. So he grew up rooting for the Giants. So from what I understand, I did a little digging. I guess the Yankees did offer him, wow, this is crazy, $213.5 million for 7-year extension for $30.5 million per year. He turned that down. So I'm just starting to think, I'm like, that's a lot of fucking money to say, yeah, you know what? Yeah. Judge is having an MVP caliber season in 2022, leading the league with 48 runs, 22 home runs, and a slugging percentage of .671. Jesus Christ. On base, what is this on base slugging percentage? How do you say that? You say 1,000.0055 or 1.055? Yep. How do you say that?
No, 1,000.
1,055. Yeah. Judge is a two-time All-Star and has finished the top 5 in MVP voting twice and coming in second in 2017. I'm going to give you the plus factors. This is my plus factors. You guys can say.
I don't know nothing about him, so I don't know what I can say.
Projected. All right. The Giants are projected to have a payroll less than 103 million next year off season, well below the 233 million. Which is the competitive balance tax, I guess. If Judge is interested, the San Francisco could easily afford him at $36 million per year salary. What do you guys think?
No. Go ahead, Bob. I don't know too much about him. So, okay, the only thing I can think is he's turning that down right now, that $35 million a year contract from the Yankees. So, to a certain point, why is he turning that down and stay with a team that can maybe take you to the World Series and come to San Francisco where his home run, well, they brought the fence in, so the home run production maybe could stay the same.
That's my negative factor, yeah, because the Yankee Stadium is ranked 4th in home runs and the Giants is ranked 23rd. So that's going to hurt him.
It's going to hurt him. At the same time, too, is
do we get the home team discount? Do we get a home team discount, Bob?
Yeah, garbanzo beans. We get Boston beans.
Those days are gone, right? Yeah. Those days are gone.
So the thing is,
no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Is he turning it down because maybe he think he might, because he's having such a good year right now, that next year he might get 50 million, 45 million, and that's why he's turning it down now. And if the Giants want him, you're going to have to come up with 45, 50 million. Fuck. Or if the Yankees want him, yeah, you're going to have to come up with 45 million or 50 million. Otherwise, I'll go to the Giants, you know? Or so is that the reason why he's turning this down?
Well, here's the other teams. The Mets, the Dodgers, and the Cubs and the Red Sox are the other 4 teams that will be banking to try to pick him up. Those are rumors. Those are just rumors.
And they're all going to offer him 50 million?
Can the Dodgers afford to pay him over 35, 36 million? No, right?
The thing is too, if the Dodgers, let's say the Dodgers get him, where is he going to fit into that lineup? You know, does that mean they're going to get rid of the right fielder and put him in and get rid of the right fielder and have him go to a different team?
Nope. Mookie's got a 12-year. He had a 12-year contract. Chris Taylor plays left field. So what they'll do, next year David Price and Trevor Bauer come off the books for the Dodgers.
Yep.
There's $43 million right there. Yeah. Okay. Clayton Kershaw took a $15 million pay cut this year. I don't want Aaron Judge on my team. I really don't. Okay.
I think it's going to be amazing.
And if I'm the Giants, I don't want to pay Aaron Judge over 30 million for one factor. Okay, he's on the Yankees. Okay, he's sandwiched in between DJ LeMahieu in the batting order and Giancarlo Stanton, which means you got to pitch to him because you don't want to walk him and put Stanton up.
Yeah,
who's going to protect Judge in the lineup for San Francisco? Who can be a steady hitter? Because I don't see a Jeff Kent on that roster to protect Aaron Judge like Jeff Kent protected Barry Bonds.
Right.
Maybe Ruff, but Ruff I don't think is that much of a power hitter. Right, he's not that he's big and strong, but he's just not that much of a power hitter. And then same thing with the one before Ruff, the other big, tall, strong guy that we have.
I say he gives us the home team discount and comes for $25 million.
No, Longoria. They can't protect him.
No, he's not coming to San Francisco for $25 million. He's not.
No, he's not. No,
he can get. He will get $40 million from some stupid team like the Nationals, the Mets,
the Nets,
the Braves, maybe. The Dodgers don't go after him because
the Braves lost.
They got some good kids in the farm system.
The Braves lost to Freeman, so they're looking to replace him. You know, his 20.
No. The Braves traded for Matt Chapman from the A's and signed him to an 8-year deal. He's playing first base.
Well, you can't count the Reds out of this. You gotta assume the Reds are going to be on his ass too to get him to come over to Boston.
The Reds are not going to pay that much money because the Reds did a huge salary dump this year and got rid of everybody.
Yeah, but all right, but
you got to start.
From what I understand too, though. This is what I wrote on this post on KMBR. KMBR had this post. This is why I have this article on our show today. And I wrote that I said the market's not big enough for a Judd in this Bay Area. I don't think there's enough outside revenue for him to draw in commercials, endorsements, like that. And jokingly, I was just kidding around and everybody thought it was funny, as I wrote, what is he going to do? BMW commercials for Redwood City of BMW? No, he's not going to do those commercials. So I don't see him wanting to come into this market. Even if they were to offer him more money, I don't see him coming to the Giants for that reason. Because I feel like today's athlete that are superstars like this guy are looking for outside endorsements, not just making money through the teams. And I don't think that money's there for him in San Francisco.
And where is it in New York?
Why?
No, where is it in New York? This outside revenue money for him.
Radio stations, big time fucking TV commercial. There's more money rolling around New York City.
It'll be here too in San Francisco.
Tech money, but how many commercials have you seen any athletes do with tech?
Look at Curry. Curry's doing Subway sandwiches. He's doing State Farm commercials.
Those are not local commercials. That's what I'm talking about. Local money.
It's
well, Buster Posey was doing Toyota commercials.
Toyota Mantica. Mantica Toyota.
No, the commercials, whether it's local.
Was he going to do air conditioning commercial for a company in San Bernardino? Or
whether it's a local commercial or a nationwide commercial, he's still going to get paid the same amount of money for doing that commercial.
Yeah,
the commercial thing is here. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I have that feeling. And I think also, and I may be wrong about this one, and I may be thinking, a little bit outside of the box, but I do, don't get mad at me, Bob, but I do believe that there is more team pride and sports love for the teams on the East Coast than there is, say, here on the West Coast. I think it starts to thin out as you get to the West Coast, where, yes, I do. I think that there's more pride in your home team. I do. I've seen both sides of it, and I've seen I've seen walking into a Phillies bar, and I've seen the best bar in San Francisco for the 49ers, and there's a complete difference in between the home fan for an Eagles fan and a home fan for a fucking Niner team. I just feel like there's more there, and I think some athletes want that. I may be wrong, but I'm letting you know what
You're
I
wrong.
think, my opinion.
You're wrong.
Go ahead, Bob. Tell him.
You're wrong.
Tell him.
You're wrong.
Okay, here's my belief. I believe it could be what you say, but at the same time, I believe it's the location of where you live. Okay, first of all, in Philly, what do they get to do out there besides watch a hockey game?
There's all 4 sports there. What are you talking about?
Okay, but do they get to go out into the mountains and ski? Do they get to go out
Well,
to
that's
the
what I'm
lake?
saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it thins out as the further west. We have so much going on here and other
Right.
things to do that we don't need to draw all our attention to our local sports teams.
Okay, and now, what stadiums are more full right now as far as fans going to the stadium to watch a game? Is the Philly stadium filled all the
It's
time?
packed that
Packed
stadium
with
is sold
what?
out. That's
With
sold
what?
out.
With what? They're not packed for basketball. They're not packed for baseball. They're only packed maybe for the Eagles, because the Eagles have a long tradition of when they used to be great, and fans are still thinking in the past, like we hear sometimes think in the past. Don't give me that hand and throw away, John.
I'm just saying, it's just my opinion of something
Right.
I've noticed.
No,
I've
good.
noticed the
It's your
difference
opinion.
between different cities. And even when I was driving truck, I noticed it, and one of the first things I noticed, and okay, Buffalo may not have a lot going on in Buffalo, but
Mhm.
everywhere I walked, somebody had a fucking Buffalo hat on, Bills hat on, had a Bills
Right.
jersey in fucking June and July. Do I see people walking around the city of San Francisco with Niner stuff on in June and July? No, I
Probably
don't.
not.
No, they're
But
wearing
that doesn't
giant
mean-
stuff. They're wearing
They're wearing
giant stuff.
Giants. I don't even see that,
No,
Bob. That's
Buffalo's
what
only got 2 teams. Buffalo has 2 teams. Buffalo has
Right,
the
right.
Sabres and the Bills. Buffalo doesn't have a baseball team. Buffalo
No, they
doesn't
don't.
have a basketball team. Of course, they're all going to wear Bills stuff because that's the only team they got.
All
When you
right.
when you got a city that has 4 good teams, you change your wardrobe.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just letting you
Good
know
job,
what I've
Bob.
seen.
Good point, good
I'm just letting you know what I've seen. That's all. The 20 years that I drove truck, I'm just letting you know what I seen when I went from town to town to town, and what I noticed between what happens in San Francisco and LA. LA's a fair weather fucking town, Bob. But let's be honest.
No,
If
it's
their team's
not.
not
You
doing
can't.
it,
Okay, look, John.
if the
you cannot
Dodgers
go
aren't doing
anywhere.
good, if the Dodgers aren't
You
doing good,
cannot
nobody
go
fucking
anywhere
cares.
in the valley right now without seeing San
'Cause they're
Francisco
doing good.
Giants.
Because they're doing good. Because they're
That's what
doing
I'm
good.
saying.
That's
No,
good.
because
They're
it's
doing
But the
good.
baseball
people on the
season.
East Coast, they may bitch about them being bad, but they're still wearing their shit and they're still walking around pride for their team. Where the guys in LA are like, "Oh, fuck the Dodgers." They're
I'm going to the
fucking-
beach instead.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
mean
to the beach.
I mean, there's a difference. There's a little bit of a difference, and it has a lot to do with I
Dude,
think
do me
you
a favor.
guys
Do me a
said.
favor. Quit smoking weed before you get on the show. All right?
No, I think
Because
you
you're not
need to
making
stop. Your problem, Bob, is you're thinking the past too much and not looking into the future, because the future has changed. And as far as younger people are concerned, winners win and they pay attention to winners. If the Dodgers right now were 15 games below fucking 500, I can guarantee you nobody's walking around talking about the fucking Dodgers in LA. They have forgotten
Yes,
about
they
the
are.
Dodgers. You maybe.
Yeah,
You
no,
maybe.
no, you are absolutely wrong. I think it
you
was
are wrong and I'm
2016.
right. It doesn't matter. We're going to move
It
on.
was
We're going to move on.
2016. The Dodgers were 28-42, and they went on a 50 on the next 50 games. They were 43-7 and back in first place. Trust me. You go to LA, they can be in last place. Dodger fans are still going to represent.
I doubt that. I'm just going what I see.
Well, the only thing that I notice is when there's a Dodger baseball game, they don't come till the third, fourth inning, and they leave in the
That's
seventh.
because
traffic-wise.
traffic is so
That's just
bad.
traffic.
Okay.
That's traffic.
So if the
Traffic
Dodgers,
is bad.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
as,
Andre,
as
all
John,
I'm
as
saying-
John would say, no, as
All
John
I'm
would say, if the Dodgers were 15, 16 games out of first place, Well, I'm not going to go in the third inning and leave in the seventh. I'd rather just go to the show or go to the beach or
that's what I'm
go to the
saying. I think
bar.
that's the difference
That's what they
between the
would
East
do.
Coast. Okay,
They
I'm not
wouldn't-
saying. I'm not saying. All right, let me rephrase it. Okay, let me rephrase it this way. I'm not saying that we don't have the same loyalty as the people on the East Coast. I think we just got more going on. Okay, we have more options.
There's a lot.
We have more options.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on. But if you look at who leads baseball in attendance the last 30 years, which team leads baseball in attendance? It's going to be the Dodgers. They were the first team to draw 4 million people. Dodger Stadium is always sold out. Every night you'll see 55, 56,000 people paid to go see a Dodger game.
Let me pull up this real quick. We'll just go through this one real quick.
Sales tickets might be that high, but I don't know if they'll have that many.
If they show up,
just like the Niners. The Niners stadium is sold out. Wait. Just like the Niners stadium is always sold out. 65,000, 69,000 fans. It's sold out all the time. But sometimes you only get 40,000. Sometimes you only get 45. And why is that? Because one, they're not that good. Two, they don't want to fight the weather. So it's going to be the same thing at every stadium.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, let's jump into this next one real quick because I thought this was pretty funny that they already got these statistics out, and even before most teams' rosters are not even completed yet. I just find it funny that they're already putting this out. They must be running out of fucking news to do at ESPN because it's way too early to put out. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to win the division? It's just way too early. Aaron Schultz, is that how you say his name? Football Outsider Editor-in-Chief. Is putting his money 3,000 plus 3,000 to Philadelphia Eagles. He's saying because of all the offseason moves that the Eagles have made and their defense, and they're not sure. They're sure, but of course it's highlighted. He's not sure about Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, but he still has him at plus 300 to win the Super Bowl. Bob, your thoughts?
Well, actually, I mean, if you're going to bet $3,000, you're not going to bet it on the favorite because you're not going to make any money. But the Eagles did very well in the offseason, especially with the draft, because they got 2 kids from Georgia in the first round to play defense.
I knew he was going to go there.
Yeah. Go Eagles. Go Eagles. Fly
Go Eagles. Go ahead. Give me this. Give me the sign, Bob. What do we do, Bob? I don't have the button anymore for that one. 2 years.
I'm gonna be an Eagle, baby. Hey, Wade, I played 2 years high school football. Varsity.
Andre, your thoughts on the Eagles?
Well,
plus 3,000.
Myself, I wouldn't bet on them.
I wouldn't do it either.
They did get some good acquisitions during the offseason. But if this guy here that just Schultz just said, well, I'm not too sure about Jalen Hurts as their quarterback still, or what can he bring? Then how can you make him favorites to win their division and win the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
because
he has them beating both the Buccaneers and the Rams. He's saying that they're going to finish the postseason on top of both of those two teams.
But if your quarterback doesn't do the job,
I have to call you back.
How can they be favorites to win? The quarterback is the guy that drives you there, that takes you there.
Yes, bye.
So I don't understand how that can happen.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
It's ridiculous.
If you have a good defense, you need just an average quarterback. Look at the Baltimore Ravens when they had Trent Dilfer at quarterback, who was horrible.
Right.
And when Tampa Bay won their first Super Bowl, they had Brad Johnson, who was horrible. But the defense is rough.
Well, he's also adding the fact that they do have the easiest schedule. That's what he adds here. The Eagles also have the easiest projected schedule in the league, and
is he adding into the factor injuries that can put a guy out for the year, and then all of a sudden there goes your?
You never project injuries.
Yeah. Well, no, you never do, but you have to state it. Yeah. Projecting there's no injuries, this can happen to this team or if there is an injury, they're going to go from 1 to 7. You know?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let me go into Eric Moody. Eric Moody, ESPN betting analyst. He's got Denver at plus 1,600. The offseason additions to Russell Wilson is huge. He's won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks and should have won 2. That's what his opinion. Would have made the playoffs in 8 of his 10 seasons with Seattle and should end Denver's playoff droughts. Bob, your thoughts?
Well, if it's plus 1,600, just for the hell of it, even though I don't think Denver's going to be very good, I'd slap 100 down because 1,600 is going to get me 160 grand if I win.
Yeah. Andre, you putting some money on Denver too? $10?
$10 maybe. No, I don't know. Me personally, am tired on betting on sports. My what do you call it? Satisfaction of winning that's the way of saying it, has to depend on a referee. He's either going to make me happy or make somebody else mad, and I don't want my hands to be determined if I'm going to win on some schmuck that I might want to kill someday.
Good
because
question.
He made me lose.
I'm going to ask both of you guys. That's a good thing you just brought up. Do you think that I'm talking about the professional gamblers now? I'm not talking about Joe Blow, average Joe that's betting. Do you think the pro bettors pay attention to who's reffing a game before placing a bet?
Yes.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, I would. I mean, just for what you're talking about, Andre. Aaron Dolan, ESPN betting analyst. He's got the Bills at plus 650. They're hungry, he says. Yeah, they are hungry.
Weren't they hungry last year?
650 is still high, though. 650 is still high.
Yeah. Josh Allen entering his 5th season as a pro after throwing 4,407 yards, 36 touchdowns while adding 700. Did he rush for 763 yards? Jesus Christ, and 6 touchdowns. Yeah, he's got him at plus 650. You guys making that bet?
Nope. My reason is because they got a new coach.
Yeah.
New coach is going to change everything. That coach, after they lost that game with only 12 seconds to go or 15 seconds to go, and they lost that game, within about a month, that coach was fired.
Well, they did add Von Miller. Miller.
Mm-hmm.
But a coach brings in all new systems, new defensive coordinators, new offensive coordinators, new everything, new plays. And it's going to take a year or two to get you used to that coach with the same, with plays and different coaches. I don't think they might make the playoffs, but I don't know how far they're going to go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even though they got Josh Allen and Von Miller, like you guys said.
Taylor, I don't know how to say his last name, Fugamahama, ESPN betting analyst, has got the Baltimore Ravens plus 2,200. That's a lot,
man. Plus 2,200 means that they're not going to be very
sucker's bet. That's a sucker's bet, man. Take that bet and guarantee to lose.
This guy also has the Los Angeles Chargers at plus 850.
Wow.
So
what he's saying is the Chargers have a better chance of doing good than the Ravens do. Now the Chargers are a team. The Chargers are a scary looking team, but I think that the AFC West will be the toughest division of football this year.
AFC West.
All right.
That is it for that. I thought it was kind of cool to see that. I just thought it was funny that they're putting out those numbers so early. I mean, like I said,
what are the Rams? What are the Rams and the Niners?
They didn't break the Rams down. They didn't break the Rams down. They just picked a couple teams that they asked these analysts that they thought outside. It's basically, I think they're kind of like looking outside the box, saying, "Okay, we know where the Rams are going to be. We know where most of the teams. They didn't even put Kansas City on here." So.
For me, the Ravens bet is just like I said, it's just a sucker's bet, and I wouldn't touch it. If I was to bet,
Not even $5. Not even $5.
Not
$5.
even
Hey,
I'd rather
Bob,
go
you
buy
putting 5 down on the Ravens?
No, I'd rather go buy.
I'd go 10. I'd go 10.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Jack Del Rio before we head on out of here. And Bob, you want to go ahead and start this because this is your article.
Okay, so Jack Del Rio is the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. Jack Del Rio got pissed because they aired the January 6th on primetime TV, and all he said was, why are you going to the extravagance of January 6th little dust up, but you don't prosecute anybody from the 2020 riots and all, the buildings that got burned? Why are you focusing on this, but no one's ever done anything about the riots of 2020?
Right.
The liberal media went fucking crazy. They said he's a racist. He is, because Jack Del Rio also supported President Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
But Jack Del Rio has a point, because when he got interviewed again by the press, he called out the press for not going more after the riots of 2020. Now they're all focused on the 6th incident. But also, he got fined by the Washington Commanders for his comment.
Right.
$100,000.
Here's my deal. Okay. And I'm just going to leave it here. When I'm done, you guys can tell me I'm wrong, I'm right. Doesn't matter. In America, we have the right to say whatever we want. We have free speech. We have free speech. Okay. We can say pretty much what we want. But how is it that every time somebody on the conservative side has something to say, it's either racist, bigotry, or it was stupid, blah, 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 blah. And if the left doesn't like it, then they persecute the guy. But we don't. But everybody has a right to free speech. Okay, you don't have what I say, but I get a right to say what I want,
right?
Without causing disruption and all this other stuff. Mm. And if you really want to see a clip of two of the most stupidest people ever who have ever talked about professional football, Mike Florio and Chris Sims, they do a football podcast, but they went full hard liberal. Oh, he's just stupid and he's so dumb and he following this guy, he's an idiot, blah, 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 blah. But if I said that about those two guys, then I'm labeled a bigot and all this other stuff. Jack Del Rio did nothing wrong. He voiced his opinion. He should not have been fined by the coach. It is what it is. But apparently we, as a conservative nation, or as a conservative voter, don't get the same rights as liberals do. Yeah. And that's stupid. He should not have been fined $100,000 by the Commanders.
Right.
I hope.
Did you see? Oh God, what is his name? The guy that does ESPN from Philly. The guy that we hate.
Stephen
Can't
A.
stand his. Yeah,
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith actually is the first time I had to agree with him in a way of this situation. And I don't know if you got to see his clip. Did you see it, Bob, by any chance?
I did not.
No, I didn't see his clip.
Yeah, you need to watch it because I think it'll be the first time you're going to say, fuck, he got it on the head. And basically what he said in that interview was he felt that they shouldn't have forced him to delete it. They shouldn't have fined him. They should have let him communicate his idea. And by doing what they did, by making him delete it and fining him, they're closing the door to conversation. And I'm amazed that Stephen A. Smith said that. And it makes absolute sense, because that's basically what Bob is saying, that I think both sides deserve, whether we're talking about sports or politics or anything, is once you shut the door of communication between each other, that's when issues become just dead. And we have what we have today, this split country with the different, everybody, fighting each other. I don't know the exact word to use, but it was kind of weird hearing him say that, but what they're doing is punishing communication and taking away his opportunity to actually explain himself, because now no one can approach him because he shut the door and say, why do you think this way? Why is this important to you? But now, because of what has taken place, that conversation has been shut. So you should watch it. I was completely shocked that Stephen A. Smith said that. I was really surprised that he had said that.
I'd be careful about that, because I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk one way. He talks one way, and then when someone brings him up, well, you did this, and he go, I didn't say this. I swear I didn't say it. You misinterrupted what I said. And Stephen A. Smith is one of those flippers.
Yeah. Well, even the guy that he was interviewing was talking to, his eyes lit up. His eyes went big, because I think he didn't think that was even something Stephen was ever going to say about this issue.
Because he said it
He said it live on his clip.
He said it on TV to make himself look good. But if you close that TV camera and he's over here, that's goddamn racist. He'll be talking like that.
If he flips it, he flips it. But at least it's the first time that I can honestly say, wow, you got it right. You finally said something right.
I would say the same thing too if I heard that you finally, there's something that we agree.
It shocked me. It shocked me. I think if you guys go look for it, it's on there. But it shocked me to hear him say that he said that, basically what has just happened is you close the door to conversation. Now, no one is going to approach him and ask him, why do you think that way? Why did you post that? Why do you feel that this is what took place? That door has been shut now because he's been fined. He deleted his Instagram, or not Instagram, his Twitter account. So now he can't, he's not going to talk about it. Right. And he did. I mean, if you read the tweet, it was basically, how do you put it, Bob? I mean, he wasn't.
To me, I know this is about talking, but I'll say it. To me, I'll say my opinion. To me, this is all because of this bullshit BLM that we have to cater to these guys all the time. And no matter what they do or say, they're in the right and we're in the wrong.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if it's, I'm not going to say black and white. I'm going to say red and green.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious they're still in the right and we're in the wrong because they're BLM and we're not.
Communication has been shut. And that's the problem. If we can't communicate with each other with ideas and thoughts and understand, the only way you can understand why someone feels that way is to be able to communicate with that person. Mm-hmm. But once you shut those doors, now there's just battles because you don't know what this guy's thinking. You don't know what that guy's thinking anymore. Now you're just fighting. And I think, for him saying that, I thought it was pretty cool. But like you said, does he stick with that? I don't know.
Okay, Bob's turn.
Go ahead, Bob.
Because you just asked Bob a question and I interrupted.
Go ahead, Bob.
I mean, I just, I agree with everything that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And I agree that Jack Del Rio had a point where everybody wants to say these were peaceful protests in 2020. No, they were fucking riots. Buildings got burned down. And what I don't understand is in Minneapolis, where the whole thing started because of George Floyd, they burned down about 20 to 25 businesses, okay? 12 of those businesses were Black-owned businesses. Okay, so BLM burned down 12 businesses owned by Black people and did not offer a penny to rebuild those things. Donald Trump did, but BLM didn't. So we don't focus on that because all the media wants to focus on is this sham that's going on in Washington right now. And every time you want to talk, it's just like, okay, I'm not going to get on my political soapbox for very long here. It's just like the shooting in Uvalde, Texas. That's horrible. Okay, that's horrible. But can we blame the kid that pulled the trigger instead of blaming everybody else? And if you're we need to get guns off the street, this is horrific what happened in Uvalde, how come you don't care that it happens every weekend in Houston, in Detroit,
Right.
in LA, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, in Chicago, in New York. And I can go on and on about East St. Louis, about every inner city where the population is predominantly black. There are people killed every weekend, innocent kids that don't get on TV because it doesn't fit the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to like reporting the news in a fair way, so we're not so divided.
Right.
And let the man talk. He shouldn't be in trouble for voicing his opinion.
Yeah. All right, guys, that is it for us. Thank you very much. What do you got, Andre? I don't want to talk any more politics. So if you're going to throw politics, this is a sports show. I hate fucking doing these articles. I'm just going to be straight up with both of you guys.
Shut up.
I hate this shit. It just brings down the show. It makes me feel like shit.
You're interrupting me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say something about Jack Del Rio.
Here we go.
If it's politics, then forget about it.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to talk about Jack Del Rio, it's going to be politics. You're not going to talk about how great defensive fucking coordinator he is.
What I'm going to say was that I don't know if he's racist or not.
No.
But I remember going to a high school game for basketball back in the 70s, I guess, and he was the starting forward, I guess, or maybe I don't think he was a center, but the starting forward or a guard for his high school team that came out of San Leandro because he was born in San Leandro. And all we can remember is me and a bunch of friends, we went there to watch him play. We're drinking some beers.
I'm going to stop you right there, Andre.
No.
Because you're about to say hearsay. You're about to say hearsay, and you're going to get me in a lot of fucking trouble.
I'm not, because this actually happened. This actually happened. So we're all watching. Is it
reported? Has it been reported?
I don't know, but I'm going to report it. We were all watching basketball. We're watching the game. We're all having fun, drinking beers.
Well,
and all of a sudden, there's a loose ball on the floor. The first guy that dove in head first was Jack Del Rio, and all my friends and all. We all stood up and said, "Fumble!" Okay. So that's all I can say. It's no big deal. Right. He was the only guy that dove for that ball.
All right. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
No, man, come on.
That's why I'm just covering my interest.
You don't have to worry about it when I say it.
All right, guys. We will see everybody next week. Go Warriors. Go Giants. Go ahead, Bob. I'll let you say it. Go Dodgers.
No. All I was going to say is Brittany Griner still in jail in Russia. Have a good day.
Good day. But is she eating well? That's all that matters.
I don't know. If she loses another 15 pounds, man, we won't be able to see her.
She can move from power forward to a shooting guard.
Okay, there you go.
All right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see everybody next week.
All right, see you later. See you.
Bye.